All right, so I know y'all wanted me to review this, but I played the whole entire thing first, and then I ended up coming back on certain spots. When he comes in, basically gives the update and all that stuff. Myron and Walter are big advocates of two specific asset classes. Um, the first one being real estate. Real estate technically does give you the best tax benefits when it comes to assets that are not, well, any type of asset. I think real estate is one of the best. It's not the best. I already know one asset class that's better than that, and you can get involved with it right when you actually turn 20. So I'm just going based off of what this title is, how to get rich in your 20s. The easiest way to get rich in your 20s is literally buying one asset class, and that is life insurance. Okay. And I'm not talking about term life insurance, I'm talking about whole life insurance. The reason why you want to get into whole life insurance is because you can actually borrow against your policy. And that means you do not have to pay taxes on borrowing against your policy. Okay. So let's say you're doing a regular job and you have to pay 25% in taxes every single year once you file your taxes and all that stuff. You can literally start a life insurance policy. Don't do anything extravagant. Don't do anything don't be going out with women if it's going to cost you half of your salary. All right. Don't be buying stupid stuff like Jordans or high expensive apparel that's going to depreciate once you buy it from whatever store that you buy it from. Don't be, wasting your time with haircuts and all that stuff. Don't be buying salon makeup and all that stuff if you're a woman. Don't be like buying salon trips and all that stuff. Don't be doing girls' night out. Of course, if you get a man to pay for all that stuff, you're cool with doing that. But the one asset class that I believe gives you the best tax benefits out of everything, as long as everything's set up correctly, because you can still get into real estate and pay a whole bunch of taxes if you don't have your LLC or your C or S type corporation set up correctly. A C type corporation is the best class to have as a structure for any corporation. C type corporation is the best one. Fuck all the rest. All right, I'm going to say that right here, right now. C-type corporation is what made me rich beyond what I could even imagine. All right. But I know Myron and Walter run probably an S-type corporation, probably upgraded to a C-type corporation, but they don't know how, they probably didn't structure it right for them to be making millions upon millions. For a C-type corporation, honestly, you're going to have to talk to a financial advisor that actually knows how to set it up correctly, because I'm not going to give you that information. I do have that information on my Patreon. However, you're going to have to pay, you're going to have to pay for that. Now, will I talk about C-type corporations in the future? Yes. Will I give you as much information as I want to give you? Yes. Will I give you all the information? No. Reason why is because some of that information I don't want to have out in the public to where somebody gets all the information and then they fuck up on their end and then blame me for that. No, we ain't doing that. I'll give you some information. I'll tell you what to look for, how to what states to actually set up a C-type corporation in, what will be the best benefits and what can be some cons for having that specific type of corporation. I will give you that information to the as a bare minimum, because all three of those reasons that I just stated are very important. Now, with Myron, he does real estate. C-type corporation will be best for that. Walter does networking. So whoever you network with, you most likely will get in the same industry as them. I'm going to say this right now, C-type corporation is probably what you want to get into if you're going to be networking with very powerful or rich people. With you being in your 20s, and I'm going to keep relevant to what they had on this title, how to get rich in your 20s. The three things you want to mainly focus on is getting a good credit score, having a job, okay, and then having one asset that actually helps you appreciate later on in life. So what I mean by that is, with Myron, he will say buy a house and then rent it out. Okay, that can help you, but the problem is you're going to need to set up a C-type, S-type, or LLC. Buy the house underneath the LLC, C-type, or S-type corporation. Have a tenant move in that was actually going to pay rent the entire time that they're inside of your house. And you also have to worry about any type of damages that need to be repaired. All that stuff becomes your responsibility while you're in your 20s. And you also have to maintain a job while doing that because obviously, like I said, you have to hope that the tenant pays the entire time. That's the problem with real estate. There's too many variables that can change, and it's all because you set it up the wrong way. But there is an asset class where you have a lot more control. However, again, it all depends on how you structure it. And what the best one, in my opinion, I'm going to say this right now, it's in my opinion. So if you think there's something better and you wanted to go ahead and debate that, hey, we'll do that with your channel. On this channel, whole life insurance is what we love to talk about. Okay. Now, with my C-type corporation, what I do for a living is sell insurance. And I do whole life insurance because I always convince everybody who wants life insurance instead of getting term, unless you're in a very dangerous occupation. Okay. So if you're like a architecture or you're a construction worker, you're an electrician, a plumber, anything that can cause to some serious damage happening to you, yes, term life insurance will actually be the best one. The problem is with term, you can't use the money for your own benefit. With whole life insurance, you can use the money for your own benefit. Now, I will say this: you have to set up the whole life insurance policy correctly. You have to structure that shit. Reason why is because with a whole life insurance policy, you can actually take loans from the policy as it appreciates. Okay. So the value of the loan of the, not the loan, the value of the policy will grow so much that within, I will say maybe 3 to 4 years, you'll be able to have $100,000 inside the policy, depending, of course, on how much money you're putting into it. With that, you can take out a $50,000 loan. Now, obviously, you do have to pay the loan back because you took it out of the policy. Here's the best part: whatever interest is accrued inside of the policy, so any dividends that end up coming in through the policy, you can use to pay the premium on the policy, have paid up additions, and use whatever is left to pay off the loan while you're also having your regular 9 to 5 paycheck pay off the loan regularly also. Best part is whole life insurance policies have the best rates when it comes to loans, meaning if you get a loan from a bank, most of the time you're doing 17% all the way up to possibly 45%. Okay. And yes, it varies that much. The higher your credit score, which is why you should have a good credit score, the lower the chances it is that you'll get the higher the chances it is that you'll get a low percentage added on interest for the loan that you have to pay back to the bank. With the whole life insurance policy, the percentages can be as low as 3% all the way up to 25%. Now, there are some policies, if set up wrong, it will be 3% all the way up to 45%. And again, you have to have a very good life insurance agent that knows how to set up a policy correctly. You can guide them through it if you have the knowledge, but if you don't have the knowledge, you need to hope that they have the knowledge to do so. I will actually be giving a mini course of that later on in the future. But for the meantime, if you're going to have any asset, you want to have life insurance policy, and make sure it's a whole life insurance policy. Okay. Yes, there's other types like an index variable policy. There's a universal index policy, term life insurance, and there's a couple other ones. The ones that I focus on is whole life insurance policy. That's the only one I focus on is whole life insurance policy because that is by far the most beneficial for average people that are trying to just get an asset of some sort underneath their belt. Now, I'm going to basically go off of the reasons why you might want to do Fresh and Fit for financial advice, but don't do them for anything else. Number one, Fresh and Fit actually they preach some of what they actually do. Okay, Myron does real estate; he preaches that a lot. Okay, Walter does networking; he preaches that a lot. They both do those periodically throughout their life. It does make sense for them to basically preach that having real estate and having a strong network is go-tos for making money. which real estate can be very wealthy, but not everybody is going to be good with real estate. Not everybody's going to be good with networking, and not everybody's going to succeed with life insurance. It's just basically statistics. Not 100% of people is able to do anything that anybody preaches about. Now, their number one is build a good credit score. I would say get your credit score up to 780 and do whatever it takes to get it up to 780 at the fastest way possible. Because the younger you are with a higher credit score, the more leverage you have with basically, if you don't want to do the life insurance policy and you want to do real estate, you can get yourself maybe a $300,000 to a $500,000 loan from the banks. If you have a 780 through an 850, it's a lot easier. All right. So with them saying number one, build a good credit score, that is true. Avoid dumb financial mistakes, and most of these mistakes is basically, yeah, don't be dating women, don't be buying expensive apparel, and only buy stuff that is only buy stuff if you have passive income. Now the problem is they didn't say anything about what to actually get with your credit, what to actually avoid when it comes to dumb financial mistakes, because it says don't be afraid to make mistakes. Now, of course, it's the description. Of course, we'll have to watch the video, but honestly, these guys ain't really too intelligent to actually, give people a proper sneak peek. Number three, only go to school if you have a plan of action. That is true, because if you're going to go to college, which I'm assuming that's what they mean, if you're going to go to college, make sure you're actually going to college for something that's going to be beneficial for you. If you're going to be pursuing a career, or if you're going to be pursuing making a business, make sure that whatever you're doing college or university for involves helping you out a little bit more in your business. Number four, avoid relationships which distract you from your goals. That is correct. And I really do hope that they mean with the relationships, all types of relationships. So friendships, family relationships, consensual relationships where sex is involved, and networking. Like if you actually have a mentorship of some sort where you're an apprentice and you got a mentor who is very negative, or, not really for what you want to represent in your business, break them off. Like, I hope that's what they mean, not just, girls. And then number five, value your time or you will fail. This one is actually, yes, 100%. This is the only thing that really, really makes sense without you needed to actually see in a video. Value your time or you will fail. Time is more important than money. Time will always be more important than money, because what you can do in your 20s and 30s with $10 million is a lot different than what you can do in your 70s and 80s with $1 million. Or wait, yeah, what you can do in your 20s and 30s with $10 million is a lot different than what you can do in your 60s and 70s with $10 million. If you do reach success at a young age, understand that you now have a lot of time on your hand, and you need to figure out what to do with that time. If you're going to use that time to make more money, if you're going to use that time to build a family, if you're going to use that time for constructiveness, or if you're going to use that time for destructiveness. If you use that time for destructiveness, you have an issue. You should have never had a whole bunch of money to begin with. If you're using that money to make a family, make sure that you're setting up the family to be fruitful and successful for the rest of their lineage of going down. Whatever your legacy is, make sure they are able to carry it on. If you're going to be using that time to make more money, have fun, enjoy it. Just make sure you don't get lost in the sauce. And if you're going to be using your money in a constructive way, do your best to help others out in a way you see fit. That's all I'm going to say with that. Now, for some of these subsections, use credit card for every purchase. Don't fucking do that, okay? The only credit cards you want to use for every purchase is a credit card with cash back and no APR penalty, aka no annual fee of any sorts, okay? And you also want to make sure that the credit card doesn't have a high APR balance issued upon you. For instance, you don't want a credit card that gives you 2% on every purchase when it comes to cash back. You don't want a credit card that gives you 2% of cash back but has an annual fee of $150 and has an APR of 35%. Because if you do every purchase with that specific credit card, yeah, you're getting 2% cash back, but you're also having 35% on whatever the balance that you have that you don't pay off at the end of the month, or you don't pay off at the next billing cycle. That 35% will wreck you really fast, along with the fact that you also have to make sure you have enough money to pay off the annual fee to keep that card active. That's very important. If you're going to use a card, make sure it has bare minimum a cashback feature or a cashback reward and has no annual fee. You'll always get hit with the APR no matter what, but the better your credit score, the lower typically your APR will be. And honestly, depending on what credit cards you're able to get in the future, as long as you stay with an excellent credit score, so 780 or higher, as long as you stay in that range, you might actually see a couple of cashback credit cards that give you like 3 to 5% back as an average, no annual fee, and the APR is like 10 to 13%. You might get those. But on to their number 2, avoid dumb financial mistakes. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. I also want to add another one. SCAM stands for still confused about money. Now, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. Basically, if you're going to spend money on it, but it doesn't make money for you, don't do it. That's the basic sense of that. That brings me to courses. If you're going to buy a course, there is a way to tell if it is actually just somebody trying to get your money or if it's somebody that actually can give you information that will help you make more money. Number 1, reviews. And I know people is like, oh, but they can go ahead and make up a lie about reviews and all that stuff. That is true. However, there is a specific review that you need to see in order to tell if what you're about to buy is just from some grifter or if what you're about to buy is actually from a reliable source. Okay. The comment you want to see is somebody saying, hey, I was put into the free test, aka they were not selling this course as a paid course. They actually were giving it away to make sure it works first. I was put inside of the free test, and when we first were put out into the field to go ahead and implicate what we were taught, we struggled at first to go ahead and make money. However, the system did work. It was just not building enough money at the beginning. But once he started tweaking, he or she was tweaking the system to make it more efficient, we started to see money casually go up and up. Now, did we make millions of dollars with this? No. Did we make thousands of dollars with this? No. But with each deal, we were able to increase our profit by $100 to $200. Seems fair right there, right? Now, the best part is when you see the names, if they actually have a social media tied to that name. So if in the testimonies there is a name that you see, always look it up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or X. Okay? If that name never pops up anywhere, most likely it's a fake testimony. If that name pops up somewhere, but there's a different face, different face, most likely a fake testimony. If the name pops up and it has the same face, but a different name attached, obviously that's a fake testimony. That's the almost guaranteed way to see if somebody is actually telling the truth or if somebody's just made a whole bunch of fake testimonies to trick you. And also, if they do have an actual profile, contact them, ask them, hey, I saw your name on a testimony and stuff like that for course. I wanted to hear your thoughts about it. If they don't have any clue what's going on, that's also another way to show that, oh, snap, that's a fake testimony. They're just, trying to get as much money as possible. But if they do know enough to give you the sense that, okay, I might be able to try this out, then you can probably guess that, okay, this course right here has actually been tested. This person said it worked, but it's going to be a slow run. That's how you know the course is actually true and actually good. So if you get into the course part, make sure you understand what the course, buy the course only if it is proven to be true and you can prove it yourself. Just look at the testimonies. If there's no testimonies, don't even bother. Let somebody become the first testimony afterwards. Even if your desk already gave you the easiest way, and you can confirm that with any life insurance agent. Get a whole life insurance policy and just focus on that in the meantime. Now, don't be afraid to make mistakes. This is true. If you're going to put yourself into any endeavor, make sure you're not making a mistake, but always make sure whatever endeavor you're going into, you don't put your full into it because you don't know if it's going to be a true outcome or if it's going to be a failure. What you need to do is make sure whatever endeavor you're going to get into, you have as much information possible that you know you can apply to make you some money. For instance, if you're going to be a YouTuber, you can't just, willy-nilly put a whole bunch of videos together, post it out there and hope for the best. You have to have some knowledge behind YouTube. You have to understand how YouTube wants their brand to be represented. You have to understand how YouTube wants people to be on the platform for as long as possible. That's how you actually figure out how to structure up videos and how to structure up everything correctly. Now, mind you, my videos are complete trash. I can't really show you a whole bunch of proof unless I'm over here going through a whole bunch of chavs and going down the line of everything just to, show proof and stuff like that. People don't want that. They just want the quick and easy, information and then want to be gone. That's why it's kind of hard to, make money in the financial space, which is why I say if they were to just focus on that, that would be their best solution. But of course, we all know why people watch Fresh and Fit. It's for the after hours. But enough about that. Come over here. Women have safety net. You don't. This, unfortunately, is not true. Women don't have a safety net if they don't know how to market. Men don't have a safety net at all unless they have inheritance. So, because I already know what they're going to say is OnlyFans. A woman can go ahead and do OnlyFans, have a whole bunch of stamps, blah, 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 blah. The problem with that is the woman first has to get an audience. A woman can't just show, boobs and butt and expect an audience just to show up. That's not how it works. The algorithm only rewards people that actually are engaged in the platform. So if a woman is smart, and this also applies to men, but I'm just going to keep it on the woman's part, but men focus on what I'm about to say. If the woman is smart, she will engage as often as possible with the platform that she is going to use to promote her OnlyFans. If she has some money, she will go ahead and do paid advertisement to get the brand or get the landing page, which is going to be the platform. She is going to use paid advertisement to grow that landing page. Okay. She is then going to funnel people with the landing page, which is going to be YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. She is going to funnel that over to another landing page that will get the people to subscribe, at least with an email or a phone number to text. So she has an ability to actually keep that member part of her subscription base, then take them over to OnlyFans. Because what she effectively did, and this is marketing 101. What she effectively did was basically used YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram as a platform for her OnlyFans. She created that channel to be a marketing a marketing setup for her OnlyFans. She created a landing page that everybody knows about. Then set up a backup landing page that will get people to go ahead, know her, trust her, and then go over to the next landing page, which will be a simple one-page landing page. All right, kind of like I can actually show y'all this, kind of like this. Okay, you see them on, let's say, Fresh and Fit had this as their app of some sort. I know it's not theirs; it's somebody else, but let's just say Fresh and Fit own this app, right? This right here is a landing page. All right. Go ahead, scroll down. You see all this. You'll see a whole bunch of different faces, credibility and all that stuff, testimonies. And some of these people you've seen before, some of these people will go ahead and put a testimony somewhere down here-ish. Actually, the Q&A. Here we go, testimonies. So you got testimonies down here, or at least evidence of it. And then, like I said, previously, highlight the names, copy it, paste it, come back over into YouTube, and then type it into the search bar. And once you type it into the search bar, if something pops up, click on it. If it looks like the person and they actually have like a video of it or some sort, boom, you know, okay, cool. Landing page is good because it's actually showing authenticity. Then you come up over here to buy, which, oh, here it is. Yeah, boom, you click it, you go to a checkout to go ahead and buy. But if it was the OnlyFans case, it will basically come up over here and it will be, instead of, you know, get the app, it will be sign up with email. And then over here, it will be sign up with phone number. That will be to capture you as a member on a email list or on a phone list to go ahead and communicate with you when new content has been put out on OnlyFans. Once you submit that, you get over to the OnlyFans access and then, you know, obviously do a subscription payment on there for the paywall for certain stuff that you want to go ahead and see. That is how a woman is able to go ahead and do OnlyFans, make millions of dollars without having her own agent, without having her own managers and all that stuff. That is what women should do. Men, if you're going to be using YouTube or anything like that, and you have some type of to-do list, or you have yourself a little budgeting app, or you got yourself something, Teespring or apparel shop, or if you got yourself, you know, something that you deemed valuable for the community to go ahead and have, you would do the same process. Use YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, and anything that has a massive audience. You would use that as a landing page to basically get people to know you and trust you. You would then send them to another landing page for them to submit email or phone number in order for them to be on an email list, or for them to be on a phone list in order for you to contact them for any type of new content that's coming out on your app, anything like that, your apparel store, anything like that. And then they get access to the apparel store, the app, the course, or whatever that you're trying to sell them. That's how you go ahead and become a safety net, because you're basically securing your own future. Going on to the next one, Jordans are for broke N words. That is 100% true. Don't be buying stuff unless you're able to afford it. And only buy N words and word poo from your passive income. Yes, but honestly, don't even worry about being fashionable and all that stuff. You getting a good tailored suit and then getting some good dress shoes, and then just, you know, being in a casual setting is enough. Okay. The bare minimum that should cost you is $2,000. That's the most you should spend on yourself for anything extravagant. And when I say that's the most expensive you should spend for yourself, I mean for your lifetime, just $2,000. And that's with just apparel. Okay. Just apparel. I'm not talking about like vacations. I'm not talking about, you know, food and all that stuff. I'm just talking about apparel. You should only spend $2,000 worth of apparel throughout your whole entire life, and that should only be for a good tailored suit and some a good pair of dress shoes and some socks. That's it. Don't be overcomplicated. Don't be doing anything extra. All right. Now, the dark side of dark side of laptop lifestyle. The dark side is one thing and one thing only. You won't be communicating with your family, and you won't be communicating with friends. So you're basically going to socially isolate yourself. And that is very bad, because human beings are social people. Now, the difference between me doing this and you doing this is that you may have a family that you want to basically be involved with. You want to go ahead and have fun with, and doing all the good stuff, good times, good memories and stuff like that with. The difference with me is I'm 30. I've already had my good times with my family and all that stuff. It's time for me to make as much money as possible now. Okay. That's the difference between me as an old person and you as a young one. That's the biggest difference. Save that money, invest in assets. That should speak for itself. Get the crypto course. You don't need the crypto course. You want to know the course you need to understand? Actually, no, I don't want to use that one. Since we're going to be going down this rabbit hole, this is all you need to know, okay? In the previous year, what's in the green has basically gone up, all right? ZEC Coca. Let's see what else. XG. All right, cool. Now, these are the top 100s. All right. Adam Link, Bonk, Pepe, Ada, Bitcoin. There it is. All right. In the last year, Bitcoin has gone down 27%. In the last year, Atom has gone down 54%. In the last year, Ada has went down 61%. This is the top 100 coins that are basically with the best market value and all that stuff. Bitcoin has the most, and obviously you see Bitcoin in the red. When Bitcoin goes in the red, soon after, all the altcoins will most likely go in the red also. Now, the reason why I'm showing y'all crypto bubbles is because the past year, the only cryptocurrencies you would have made money on is ZEC and Coca. The reason why is because obviously these are the newest ones. Started what? Started rising. Oh, just like in October, basically. So if you would have gotten involved with this back here in March and maybe sold around right here, yeah, you would have been a multimillionaire if you would have bought 100 of these. It's like, I'm just fine. You wouldn't be a multimillionaire. You would be probably in the six figures though. But here we go. All the exchanges are seeing a downside. That's a big thing, okay? All these exchanges are seeing a downside. Now the next 100 is actually showing some very good positive results. Fawn, Pippin, USD, Siren, ZBCN, Syrup, WFI, Real, QRL. If you would have invested in these within the last year, especially this one, if you would have put, holy shit, if you would have put $100 in this and then sold literally, yeah, if you would have bought $100 in that and then sold at the beginning of this year, damn. Oops. I just thought about that. Holy, if you really would have bought this coin right here in September, $100, you would have been $1,000. But if you would have bought right around here when it was like 25 to 20 cents, bought 100, bro. That's 500 tokens. Sold it when it popped up over $13. Damn, y'all would have made bank. Y'all would have made big bank. But just to say, the next one I wanted to say was oops, here we go. This one, obviously buy low, sell high. We all know that. Extreme fear, Bitcoin's going down. When it's ever in extreme fear, you want to go ahead and buy. Obviously, you want to let it go down as fast as possible, but you can't time it ever on a perfect dot. Okay. Bitcoin is going down below 70,000. I would say if it goes to 68,000, buy as much as you can. If it doesn't go to 68,000 while still under 70,000, buy as much as you can. Same thing with Ethereum, because it's just around 2,000, buy as much as you can. The shit's going to skyrocket back up. It's going to. Like it's always done that in the beginning of the year. It's always gone down, and then towards the end of the year following, shoots right back up. Always does that. Oops. Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to nerd. Anyways, that's why I said don't get the crypto course. Buy low, sell high. All right. Right now, everything's in a low. If you want to wait till it goes lower, all right, cool. If it starts shooting back up, buy as much as you can right now. All right. Advice for a 5'11", 300-pound guy. Lose weight. That's all the advice he needs. Ask for a credit limit increase. If you have credit cards, I'll explain this a little bit. If you have credit cards and you're at like a $500 limit, but you had the credit card for at least a year, call up your bank, ask them if you can get a credit limit increase. All right. It's going to cause you to lose like 4 or 5 points for asking for the credit limit increase, because they're going to hit your credit for some reason. But if they approve, which again, if you had it for a year and you've been stuck at a $500 limit, they will rise it. All right. Especially if your credit score was like, let's say 400, 500, and you were lucky enough to get the credit card because you partnered with them for over a year, and you improved your credit score from like 400, 500 all the way up to like 700. They're going to jump your credit score to match what normally everybody in the 700s would normally have. So you can go from 500 up to like 5,000 or 500 up to like 10,000 sometimes. But always ask for a credit limit increase, because what that does is also opens up your total credit available, and it also decreases the credit usage that you have on your credit cards. Now, with a credit limit increase, sometimes you do have to make sure that there isn't an increase in APR, or there isn't an increase on minimum payment that you have to do for your credit card. You do have to ask for that information when you ask for the limit increase, just to make sure they don't screw you over. WTF, don't end up like him. Probably don't end up like this guy. Avoid relationships which distracts you from your goal. I already say that. Selfish men succeed. And the most part, yes, that's true. Now, value your time or you will fail. Take your shirt off. Okay. Pause. I got clips on him saying some extremely sus things. So whoever did this, pause, because you're just confirming what I know. Anyways, if you're not ashamed of yourself, I guess they're saying expose yourself. Let everybody know what your body looks like. I guess I don't know. But what I'm going to take from this, because like I said, I did go through it. I'm not going to lie, I fast forward through this part. I wasn't paying attention. So this part, all I'm going to say is, if you're in the fitness niche, make sure you're showing your results. Okay. Make sure you're showing your results. That's all I need to say about that. All right. Avoiding dangers on the way to male success. The only dangers you're going to have is your own pride and your own ego, which these guys unfortunately lost to. Learn to say no, they will say yes. This is not always true, but the main thing is learn to say no. When you say no onto certain terms and certain conditions, when it comes to building your own business, when you say no to certain situations that will either get you money or cost you millions, you do need to say no if it causes your morality to be affected. Learn to say no. They will not always say yes, but they are more likely to say yes if they see you are standing on principles. Super chats, anybody who pays for these motherfuckers' attention is dumb as fuck. Sorry. And Diglets, I'm sorry, bro, but that's way too much. All right. I understand they probably helped you out in a very difficult time, but bro, really? You want to give them hundreds and hundreds of dollars just because, they're trashing women? I understand it's entertaining, but bro, come on. I know at least 3 dates you've done where you said the wrong thing at the wrong time, and it was because of Myron giving you the bad advice. I know it's that, bro. Look, I want you to keep on supporting him. Keep on doing your thing, bro, because I know they helped you out a lot. You said some things to me in the past. I'm keeping that in confidence for you. Like, I understand what they did for you, okay? But bro, come on now. Too much money. But Myron mentioned bang 40-year-old girls. Yes. Okay. If they are acting like girls instead of women, yes. Okay, cool. Don't sleep with them. But if they like that Sarah Gonzalez girl and they like 38 and, they can still have kids, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, if they looking that good, bro, hey, get you one, bro. Get you one. Tradcons, watch this episode. That's just clickbait. If you have an Android, women won't like you. That's a lie, because ain't it like 59% of men that are in relationships have Androids? Like that's just completely, well, I guess if they can fake having an iPhone, that technically counts as them fooling the woman into thinking they have an iPhone. So I guess this statement can have its own little debate later on. But Myron used to eat. Who cares if he ate box in the park? That's freak show. Anyways, recap of the show. Show's ass. Outro. Your outro's ass too. So long story short, they do go over a lot of things. They really don't say anything much except for literally get your debts down, get your credit score up, get your credit limits up, and get into real estate. And make sure you know who to network with. Those are the 5 main things that they go through. And I agree with get your debt down, get your credit score up. If you need a credit limit increase, go for it. Just make sure you understand that whatever they're giving you, make sure it stays the same as what you had before. Just the increases being the thing that's implemented. All right. If something else changes, you know, have a meeting at your bank to understand what the hell is happening, what's going on, and make sure it doesn't screw you off at the end. If you need a financial advisor for all this stuff, make sure you hire one because again, I'm just giving, educational advice. I'm not giving actual financial advice. I'm just letting y'all know what it is. This is all educational purposes only, except for the fresh and fit, the the wild stuff that Myron be doing in parks with women and the super chats and stuff, with the disrespect towards them. All of that is not entertainment or none of that's educational purposes. That's all true facts. These guys are shit, always been shit, and ain't nothing but shit. So yeah, and I will go ahead and always stand by that. And I know there's a whole entire community of people who think the same way, and they used to be in the red pill also. So it's not just me. These guys has actually ran a lot of scams. I'm just glad I wasn't one of the people who spent $3,000 to go on that ferry. That was hilarious. Whoever paid $3,500 just to go into a ferry to just dance with a whole bunch of dudes, you're wild, bro. You are wild. That's crazy. I would never spend that much money on just an event, bro. Like, mind you, it's not even for you to actually even meet them. It's literally like, cause I ain't gonna lie, Auburn and Preach, they did a video on it. Watts TV did a video on it. Okay, and shouts out to Auburn and Preach and shouts out to Watts TV because those two channels, I really fucking love the content that they actually put out. Those two channels, I do definitely check out their content. They actually do some very good takes on certain things that are talked about in certain communities. And they also go over certain stuff that actually needs to be talked about inside of not the red pill, not inside the red pill, but they do go over stuff that needs to be talked about for people to actually be developing better skills as people, not as, RP, BP, black pill. Like they go over stuff that makes humanity stable. Okay, so check them out. Auburn and Preach, Watch TV. I have them down in the description. But yeah, these guys, look, they give when it comes to finances, they give some okay advice. I mean, it's basically you watch Dave Ramsey, and then you watch these guys. They basically saying the same stuff he says. Get out of debt. Make sure your credit score is good, and do your best to stay out of bad debt. They just add on buy this asset or get involved in this, and that's it. Like me, I want y'all to actually do better than I did. Okay, like I said, I started two C-type corporations. My first one failed. I ended up owing $25,000 to $35,000 just to get out of debt for doing that C-type corporation wrong. Set up a second one. The second one was successful because I structured it correctly. Articles of organization, made sure I actually had a real business location, made sure I had a real business email, real business address, made sure that I had, my stock certificates, made sure I had a proper business bank set up. I did everything I could to make sure that that business was literally a business. Found a couple investors, got them to go ahead and invest into the company, built up the company a little bit more. Within 2 years, I was able to sell majority of the stocks, probably all of the stocks that I owned, for 7.5 million. And then I was able to sell the business entirely for an extra 3 million for $10.5 million. Okay. Do I still have that money? No. Majority of that is now in life insurance policies. I'm still living off of maybe like $500 to $600,000. All right. That money I probably won't touch. I just put that into another whole life insurance policy, or I'll put that into a trust fund for my kids. Like I said, I'm set for life. All right. I don't know if everybody who watches this stuff is set for life. I don't know if people need help with dating. I don't know if people need help with finances. I don't know if people need help with just improving themselves. But I'm going to try to give out more of anything that I feel like will be beneficial for people. All right. Don't get swacked on by a whole bunch of up and coming YouTubers. Don't be getting confused with a whole bunch of influencers that are just spewing hatred or spewing a negative bias towards anything. Don't be following people that are sending a bad energy out there. Okay, this dude may be trying to help you out. The other dude from across from him may be trying to help you out. But I'm sorry, with the people that they hang out with, just promoting negativity towards a specific group, even though that group may be doing some terrible things. I mean, hey, you're just as bad trying to get people to incite war against them. Like, you're still having the problem being caused where violence is being used. Like, you can't be promoting that type of stuff. And then you're going to be crying about basically having your channel demonetized, and it's your own actions that caused it, bro. Like, you're putting on a freaking white hood over your face and doing its loot that is similar to what the mustache man was doing. You going around saying F the J word, FJ words, like, bro, you're being disrespectful to the people, and that is tarnishing YouTube's brand, which is why you got demonetized. You're lucky you didn't get banned fully for the platform, but you got demonetized because of your actions that's hurting YouTube as a brand. The business is paying you, not the people. The people have to use the business's features to pay you. That's why you had to go over to Rumble and Locals to go ahead and keep on trying to struggle to survive to pay your coworkers, because you were doing stupid stuff and you didn't hold yourself accountable for those actions. And please don't. If you see this, Myron and Walter, or anybody from their community, if y'all see this and y'all send it to him and he comes up to me talking about boxing and stuff, I accept. I'm just gonna let you know right now, bro. You're going to pass away, because you're not going to get a fair fight. You're not going to get a street fight, bro. It's if you challenging me, you're signing your own death warrant. That's all I gotta say. All right. I'll like your video. I'll like it. I'll like the video because you're at least trying to do some helpfulness, even though you're causing more harm than helpfulness. But don't think you can mess with me, bro, because I don't care what your background is. The one thing is, you've never seen me in action. So without further ado, I bid you all a farewell. Have a good time, and make sure you study up on what I said, because I don't want y'all just immediately going out there and doing whatever you feel like